Thank you.
So hello everyone, thank you for coming to the Rest Center's Life Skills Series workshops. Today is all about taxes, and I'm very excited because I'm a person that likes to do my taxes early, and Canadian taxes can be complicated, and there are a lot of ways you can get refunds. I mean, to me, I think this is the best country to pay taxes in, but anyway. And coming from Jamaica where you get nothing back. But I'd like to introduce Janett Mason. She's a project controller as well as a tax preparer during tax season. And I'm going to have her tell her her cool job and who she works for, because it's really cool.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you so much for being here today and empowering our youth that are watching and that will watch about how, because paying your taxes is very empowering, I find.
It's very important.
I hand it over to you, Janett.
Okay. All right. So as I said earlier on, my name is Janett, and my job title, my day job is I am a project controller at the former Bombardier Transportation. Bombardier Transportation is the manufacturer of the subway cars that you ride on and the GO Transit trains that you see, those bi-levels. We also do repairs and maintenance and operations for GO Transit. I've been working there for over 20 years. So, you know, I'm pretty old.
No.
Yeah. So, yeah, in the tax season, I do income taxes for various people, various clients. And I also do like small business taxes, you know. I have a presentation that I've prepared that I'd like to share with you with regards to why you have to do your tax return. Okay?
Go ahead.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully it'll play. Let's see. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So why you need to file. Okay. So first I'll take you to an overview of the different aspects of the Canadian tax system, and then we'll go into, you know, a little bit more detailed about what a tax form looks like, the different types of income that you need. If you have that income, you must file a tax return. Okay, so this is the overview. So we're going to talk about the Canada's tax system. We're going to talk about the types of taxable income, the tax rates, and then we'll have a Q&A session. Okay. So the Canadian tax system is a self-assessment system. It means that each year you must complete a tax return and report any income and calculate whether or not you owe taxes or you're going to receive a refund. This tax system is considered the most economical and efficient way to collect income taxes. In Canada, the tax system is progressive or graduated, meaning the more money you make, the more income tax you'll pay. So the person who administers the tax laws for the government of Canada is, of course, the big old CRA. And they also collect taxes from most of the provinces and territories. And they collect taxes for other amounts such as goods and services, Canada pension contributions, and employment insurance. They also deliver various benefits and credits to Canadians through the tax system. So that is one of the reasons why you should file your tax return, because for some people, there are some benefits that you can get and credits that you can get from the government. All right, so we're going to move now to the types of taxable income. So of course you have employment income, you have business income, pension income for pensioners, investment income, and income from RRSPs. So I will move to the example of what a T4 looks like. Some people who have never filed a tax return before do not know what the T4 looks like. And a T4 will normally be issued by your employer. Let's see if this will open. It's taking its sweet time. Okay. Okay, so this is what a T4 slip will look like. It would have the employer's name here, the year.
I think you need to switch your sharing because we still see the PowerPoint.
Okay. Okay. You seen it now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. Yeah. So as I was saying, the T4 or statement of remuneration paid is issued by your employer. So what your employer does when you are working for a company is they are instructed by the government to withhold income tax. So they'll take an amount based on another form that you would have filled out once you got employed to know how much tax to take from your paycheck. They also withhold the CPP contributions, which is the Canada Pension Plan, and the EI premiums. So these two plans is the EI is for if you got laid off or you were sick and you needed to collect benefits. So this money would go into a pool, and then if you qualify, that you can get sick benefits or you can get paid for what they call unemployment insurance. So in this section here, you'd see that it's the name of the employer, the person's social insurance number. This is just a sample. It doesn't represent anybody at all. The person's name, last name, first name, their address, the total income that they earned for the year, the taxes that were withdrawn, the CPP, and the EI. Now, this is just a basic T4 slip. You have other people who work who have a lot more withholdings than what you're seeing here. That this is just the basic one, because you have here a box number 20, which is an RPP contributions. That is for people who contribute to a pension plan outside of the CPP pension plan. Okay, so I'll share now what the T4 RSP look like. Okay, so this is what a T4 RSP look like. So this T-slip is if you have a registered plan at your bank or financial institution and you went and you withdrew money from the plan, right? The bank will issue you this. You have to add this to your income when you do your income tax because it's taxable income. So basically it's the withdrawal amount here, and they take income tax out of it also. So this income must be reported also on your income tax. The next example I'm going to show you is a a sample of what a paper return would look like. If I can find it. Let's see. Okay. Okay, you see my screen now?
The PowerPoint, right?
Yeah. It
Yes.
says T1 income tax form.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this T1 income tax form is a sample of what the beginning of your tax return, if you're doing it manually. I mean, now, back when I started doing tax returns, this is how I would start. I would actually start before software was available to individuals. I would actually start with a form like this. This first section is your identification. So you'd put your last name, first name, initial, your address, postal code. You'll enter your social insurance number in here. You'll enter your date of birth. You'll also select whether you want to be correspond with CRA in English or in French, right? You'll also put down whether you're married, divorced, single, common law, separated, withered, that type of thing as your marital status. And the reason why they ask for your marital status is because if you're married, both of you have to file a tax return, right? In this section below where your marital status is, they ask for the social insurance number of the spouse and the spouse's net income. Because when they administer the credits and the benefits, it's based on income. So if you and the spouse's combined income is at the threshold, then you won't get those benefits. But if you're a single person, you will be able to get the benefit based on your income. There's also a small section here, which is for Elections Canada. And this section is important also. It is whether if you're a Canadian citizen, you will, they're asking you to tick the box whether yes or no, that you want the CRA to send your name and address to Elections Canada to be added to the list of people who are qualified to vote.
So do you need to fill out this form even though you're on a student visa? I mean,
Yes.
who are the people that have to file taxes? We know Canadian citizens definitely, but who else?
Okay, so Canadian citizens, permanent residents, the students have to file if they have income, right? And even if they don't have income, I would encourage them to file. You can file a zero tax return. Because you're here in Canada, you are spending money on your school. And the other reason why the students should file is because there is a slip that the educational institution issues, right? The education and the education certificate, the tuition and education certificate.
Yeah, it's a T2202.
Right. That certificate, you should file it in the year that you receive it, because when you're finished your courses and you do get a job, you can't use, say you finish your course and you complete your education and in 2020, and in 2021 you start to work, but for the year 2020 you did not file your tax return and let them know about those credits that you have on that slip. You have to go back and do the 2020 tax return before you can use the credits. So it's like they allow you to use a certain amount each year based on your taxable income. And the balance that's left from the T2202, you'll carry it forward for, think about either 5 or 7 years, around there, until it's all used up. So I encourage students on a visa, or whether they're students that are permanent residents or they're Canadian citizens, to file the tax return, especially for students, Canadian citizens that are living at home with your parents, because when you file your return, what you don't use, you can transfer it to your parents and help them out. Okay, so the tax tables. So on this slide is the tax rates for 2021. So on the first the first $49,020, the tax rate is 15%, right? The next table, the next amount is 20.5% on the next $49,020 of the taxable income, or on the portion of the taxable income over that amount, up to $98,040. So if you make below this amount, 49,000, you'll pay 15% tax. But keep in mind that throughout the year while you were working, your employer was withholding tax from you. It might not be 15%, it might be 20%, or it might be less. It depends on when you got employed and the TD1 form that you filled in before they started taking taxes from you, whether you fill it in as a single person, or you fill it in as a married person, or you fill it in as a single person with children. So as you can see, the more money you make, the tax rate increases. So this is just the federal income tax rates. There's also a provincial rate, and the rates for Ontario are 5% on the first 45,142, 9.15% on the next 45,145, and it just keeps going up as the income increases. Okay, so that was my little spiel on the taxes, and you can ask me questions on, with different scenarios on how to file and what to file. There isn't, I don't know of anybody who does a return manually right now, because as I said before, way back, I used to do them manually, but now that the software is available, I've been using the software now since the 90s, since 1990.
So I know, like, for example, it's not hard to do your taxes by yourself, or I know H&R Block do student prices like at $45 and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend that we can do our taxes by ourselves, or is it better to find somebody to do
if
our
you're
taxes, especially as a student or a child?
Yeah, if you're confident enough, yes. But I would recommend that you use the software.
And where's this software?
Well, you have to buy it.
Oh.
You have to buy it. There's TurboTax. There is UFile. What else? Actually, H&R Block has an online one that you can use, and some of them is even free. You won't have to pay. It depends on your income, and it has a step-by-step guide to sort of guide you down the way. Like it first will start off, and it'll collect your name, your address, your social insurance number, your date of birth, and then it'll ask you, okay, so do you have income? You say yes or you say no. Then it'll say, okay, what type of income do you have? And you can say employment income. So then if it says employment income, then it's going to ask you for your T4 slip. So you should have all that information in front of you, your T4 slip, and you just like how the T4 slip is laid out, that's how most of the software is laid out. It'll ask you for the amount that is in box 14, the amount that is in box 22, the amount that is in box 16, which is the CPP, I believe, and the other amount in 18, which is the EI, and all the boxes. So if you look at your slip, you'll see that there is amounts in certain boxes. So you will take those amounts from there and you plunk it into the software. And as you go along, the software will tell you whether you owe or whether you need to pay.
Some of our students and some students do these grant programs where they do the summer company startup and they earn some money, you know, either doing landscaping or freelancing. How do you handle that income when it's not from an
Okay,
employer?
so that's why I put the little I think the first 2 slides about the self-assessment system. Revenue Canada expects that if you're getting paid cash or, you know, like that, you're supposed to report it as income. So if I go outside and I shovel my neighbor's driveway and he pays me, I'm supposed to report it as income. But not many people do that because it's cash, it's untraceable, right? Some people do. Some people, that's the only job they have. So because they want to get the benefits and the credits that they offer. Some of the credits are like the GST, HST credit that you would get every quarter, and also the Trillium benefit that most people get every month. So if you don't file a tax return, you will not get those credits. Also for single parents, there's the child tax benefit. If you do not file an income tax return, you will not, they'll cut you off around July, you will not get another check. So you must file your tax return before the end of June, right? In order to keep the payments coming.
What I enjoyed being a student is that $50, the GST, well, in my day,
yes,
it was $50.
The
GST
HST credit, yes.
Well, yeah, I was in Montreal, so the GST, and
yes.
I loved it. I mean, it was $50, and that's why I filed every year.
$50, exactly. Yeah. So those are some of the credits that they have. I mean, over the years they've changed significantly. Before, when I've never actually gotten one of those checks, I don't know why. I don't make that much money, right? But I know people who, like, they're in a certain income category and they always get the GST HST credit. They get the Ontario one. Well, this one is only for Ontario. If you live in another province, you wouldn't get it. The Trillium benefit, they'll get that, right? The only thing I would say about completing your taxes yourself is that you have to have a good understanding of the different types of deductions that you're allowed to take. So for instance, you have deductions for if you're a single person, right? And you have a child, that you don't have a spouse. So they have a deduction called equivalent to spouse amount, or they call it a qualified dependent now. It used to be called equivalent to spouse before. Yeah.
Wow. Is that different from the child benefit tax?
Yes. That's okay. So remember when I was showing the tax tables?
Yeah.
Those deductions will reduce the percentage of tax you pay. So for a single person, let's say, the first 12,000, I can't remember the exact amount, but the first 12,000 dollars that you make in income, that's not taxable,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
That's not taxable. If you were to look at the form, which is there's, I mean, when I showed you the sample of the that was
Yes.
just the front cover of a tax return. It's 4 pages, right?
Okay.
So there's 4 pages to that return, and also there is schedules that go with that return. So each schedule represents the deductions that you are planning to take, right?
Okay.
So you have your equivalent to spouse, you have your TD, your T1, that the T1 deduction. So that schedule, the T1 schedule, that's where you start to calculate how much tax you're going to pay. That's different from the benefit form itself, the front part, the sample that I showed. So those schedules, yeah, those
Okay.
schedules will be attached, and also the information slips will be attached. But nobody really does paper tax returns anymore. So, right?
So, and you're saying these
Schedules.
software,
Yeah. So the
they
software,
ask you the right questions.
yes,
So they'll ask you, are you a single person?
right.
They'll ask you if you have a dependent.
Yes.
They'll ask you if you're a student.
Yes.
So it's almost easy. They
Yeah.
ask you what
I
the
would
accountant
go
would
with
ask
Turbo.
you.
Yeah, I would go with TurboTax. It's very easy to follow,
Mhm.
right? You can get it at Walmart. I think it's like maybe $29 or something like that.
And you use it every year. So
No, you every year.
you have to buy it every year?
Yes, you would have to buy it every year. That the one that you're going to buy this year is only for the 2020 taxes.
Jeez. So for $15 more, you can get somebody else to do it
Yes.
for you. But it's not, you know what? You talk about that and you laugh, but it's good. It's actually good to learn how to do it yourself.
Yes, yes, yes. And the best,
Even if you do it once.
yeah, the best way to learn how to do it yourself is to do it on paper, not with the software.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Latrell, do you have any questions? And we just got joined by Courtney. He's getting his sound. You know, he missed all the whole thing about the student stuff. And I know he's going to ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, well, I'll be happy to answer.
Latrell, Courtney, you have any questions for us?
No, I don't have any questions as of right now.
So, okay. And everything was, so have you done your taxes yet, Latrell?
No, I actually haven't.
And did you learn anything today?
I've done them before,
Mm-hmm.
so I have an idea. I think I used TurboTax, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good software. Very easy to follow.
Yeah, so it was relatively simple. So
yeah.
And he's math-minded, like this is his industry.
Oh, okay. So that's great then. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Courtney, you need to file your taxes.
Yes, yes. I wasn't looking at the time because I was studying, so I forgot that we had this thing tonight. But what was I going to ask? For an international student, are we able to file taxes?
Yes. You have a social insurance number, right?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's a good
I
way
would,
to
I would
pay.
encourage you to file the taxes.
Mm-hmm. So with the school, I know there was one seminar where they said with the school fee, you can get back some amount of money from your school, the tuition that you're paying.
Yes, once you, especially when you start to work,
Mm-hmm.
and your income goes over a certain amount, that tuition deduction is a big one.
Okay. So what would you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you would need to. Okay, say you're gonna get your T2202 for 2020, right?
Okay. Yes.
Because you go to your portal at school and you just print it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you need to file the taxes for 2020 in order to get the benefits of the tuition and education amount. You can't wait until when you start to work to use it, because they need to have a record of it. What happens is that you might, if you don't have a lot of income this year, right, or last year, 2020, you will carry forward the tuition and education amount to the following year. So they will,
Oh.
once you have your, once you file your taxes and you receive your notice of assessment,
Mhm.
it will tell you on there how much tuition and education amount that you have to take with you into the next tax year.
Oh, okay. So that's so would I just need to fill out the form, then send it off to them, and then
Yeah, you have to come. Well, you missed I guess you missed part of the
yeah,
yeah.
I was
So you
late.
definitely have to gather up your information slips. If you don't have any information slips,
Mhm.
and you have income from other sources, say for instance you went and you did a cash job somewhere, right?
Mhm.
You need to say, hey, I earned $1,000. I did some gardening for the neighborhood or whatever not, and I earned $1,000. That's business. That's considered business income.
Okay.
So yeah, so you would put that in the business income section, and then whatever expenses that you had incurred to get to do those jobs, you'll write that off as an expense.
Okay. Cool.
So what I'm going to do is thank you very much, Janet.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to actually stop the recording so that people can speak a little freer. So
Okay.
I just want to say, Janet, thank you so much. It's very informative. Rest centers, we offer so many services. We cater to homeless and at-risk homeless youth in the Peel region. And we also do
Okay.
life skills workshops. We have a Bridge of Hope program where we transition youth, but we don't just find them a permanent place to live. We
Mhm.
also give them a rent subsidy. We give them grocery cards every other week.
Wow,
And
that's
we
awesome.
also give them these workshops and motivate them and help them along their way. As you say, we're a family.
Okay.
Our youth have 4 women that are behind them and a board and everybody that is rooting for them. And we do what we
Right,
and
right.
these workshops are part of that.
Okay.
So
It was
thank you
great
so
that I
much.
could help. Yeah, no
And
problem.
if you whatever we missed, we post this on YouTube on the BYM Peel
Okay.
YouTube page. So thank you very much for coming.